This is
Yeah,
the exact
yeah,
framework going to help you maximize everything that you want to convey to those in a quick snapshot. Because, like she said, what your resume is your resume. We're not going to go and study that. Like, what is the first so many second impact that you're
that's
making
right.
on somebody that they have the ability to look in your LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. I have an incredible guest that I cannot wait to share with you today. Now, here's the deal. You know me, I am a huge fan of the power of networking. And so here's what happened. I actually met our guest today in a networking session through a meetup call in my local group here. And she had some amazing tips and tricks that helped me transform my LinkedIn profile, along with coaching that goes with it. It's one of those things where I could not contain her advice any longer to myself and that I have to share it to the world. So here's the deal. Jacque is my guest today. I want her to tell you not only what she's doing right now, but a story of kind of where she came from. So that way you guys get an idea as to why she's the resident expert and who you need to be with. So let's do this. Jacque, take it away. Tell us what you do right now.
What I love to do is to be a catalyst for spontaneous combustion. Okay, what that means is that I am so delighted to bring people of common backgrounds, or at least focus where they're going, together so that they can collaborate at a level that makes them both very successful and our world a better place. It's
Oh
pretty
my
simple.
gosh, that was a mouthful. I
Yeah.
love it. For those that are like, wait a minute, what did she say? How can she help me? What do you like to do best right now?
I like to enlighten people as to what possibly can be done intentionally in LinkedIn so that they are not being a pawn or whatever. They are in there to find the very best alliances, word of mouth pieces, to be able to tell the world how wonderful they are. And I do that because of LinkedIn. I do that globally in about 20 countries.
At 20, it's amazing. The best part of being able to do all this online is that we can meet with anybody all over the globe now.
Hmm.
Now, here's
Hmm.
the deal. I know you're an expert at this. Tell us your journey. I want to hear how you got to where you're at. So start us from where you want to start us in your story.
Well, we're not going to start. I love to tell the journey to some people. No, we're not going to tell you what my mom wore the day I was born. No, we're not going to go there. However, just a real quick, brief, what we would call cliff notes in my world. Raised in California, San Leandro. The roots were paved, so to speak, or created by my mother putting me into different organizations, women's groups that were based on purpose. My father passed away when I was 6. And at that point, I was told I was inspired by God that told me literally, don't worry, I will take care of you the rest of your life. So that's been my philosophy and started my roots. And from there sprung the college experience of being in a sorority, Kappa Delta sorority. And in that effort, what happened was I met my first husband, eventually had 2 children, and then went into the Peace Corps because of knowing both those individuals or those areas. After going into the Peace Corps in West Africa and Liberia, then I went into the corporate world and found that that was not the place I wanted to be. So I began my own business in desktop publishing. Some of your audience may be old enough to know what that means, and that's creating marketing materials with CorelDRAW and PageMaker. So I began to teach people how to do that, and in the process, what happened was I was teaching myself how to network and the people around me. So as I realized that formula of networking is to find out everyone that I speak to, their expertise and their need, now I can be a benefit to them because I can give them people to be on their path. I don't have to buy their insurance. I don't have to buy their widget. The best I can give them is someone who's on their path. So I began to create networking groups throughout the Bay Area. And then I actually began to coach people on how to network and how to be able to build relationships until as I moved to Arizona and looked around and began to talk to people about their alliances are in your own database. Well, their
Mm-hmm.
database happened to be in a shoebox or it happened to be in a drawer or whatever, didn't work for me. So I managed to find myself on probably the largest platform in the world of 9 billion members in LinkedIn. And from that point, I began to put people together and show them how to use this huge, very strategic, very complicated in lots of ways platform. And in that process, and real quick side effect of that was that I ran into someone who told me at about 2016 that I was here to change humanity.
Ooh.
I cried all the way home and I created my mantra. My age justifies my wisdom. My developed clarity teaches the excitement of awareness and ignites the spark of action and change. And from then on, everything changed. Using LinkedIn as the vehicle, I was part of a group, International Youth Parliament, youth from 16 to 29-year-olds in countries all over the world, trying to do their best to increase love, prosperity, and peace through the UN objectives. And I coached them. And that again fortified the LinkedIn. And I also had a literacy app that I found that would bring literacy to the communities all over the world in 90 days to take them to the third grade level. So the combination of LinkedIn to my global impact to be able to get that in all the communities or at least all the countries of the world has what has brought me to where I am today. That's a little lengthy, but you get the point.
Absolutely. Now, as a burning question, you've been doing this for a minute. What was the process before LinkedIn was the thing? I know you told me a little bit more of that story and I want to hear, and I know they want to hear about it too.
Well, the process as I began my own business, I was sitting in a conference room in Fremont, California, in the Chamber of Commerce, and I looked around and I said, I'm not paying $250 for a plaque on my wall. I'm not doing it. So then I began that formula of being able to build the relationships. And the other part of it, which I find kind of interesting every time I say it, is I was sitting in my backyard in the spa looking up, and I said, there's an airplane up there. First of all, how the heck they get an airplane up in the air? But the second thing is, all those people, if anything happened to that airplane, a lot of lives would be affected. And then I realized that one person, just one person, knows at least 600 people. So get over your problem, find one person, and realize who they know and build that relationship. So those were the opening things of why I went into coaching, or be able to help people to build the relationship instead of spurting out by my product. It's putting people on their path that are going in the same direction, but with a different product. So nobody does the same thing unless you're both selling the same piece of jewelry. Let's face it.
Mhm.
So it's a matter of actually together approaching the same audience. And how can you do it in collaboration? I don't know if that helped you, but it took me basically 50 years, 50. Yes, I'm older than dirt. It took me 50 years to start my global reach once again from the Peace Corps. And LinkedIn was the vehicle. So now I'm bringing them together. They don't know in my global that I'm a LinkedIn strategist. I've played over here to bring literacy and wellness and employment and environment into underserved populations, not bringing this over. So I'm now doing workshops to show them, all the people from other countries that don't have a clue how to do a profile and they don't know how to do
Yeah.
the about or anything else. So I'm saying, now I'm giving to you a visibility and then a global look from the LinkedIn perspective that you don't have now because no one's taught you that.
What does that look like for someone to be in a class? What kind of nuggets are you handing out to them that you can leave with some of our audience members?
Well, some of the basic things about your profile, which is I really don't want to know your resume. I'm not going to spend time on your resume. You think it's beautiful and it's your background and so on and so forth, but the about is what captures it. And your picture, the obvious is the picture should not be when you were 20 and you're now 60. Please, there's nothing worse than starting a talk to somebody. Who is this?
Right?
So make it real. Make it real. And the background behind your picture really explains a lot. And a tip on that is that Canva has linked in templates for backgrounds. I think they don't call it a masthead. Headliner, they might call it. They might call it a headliner, although that sounds like words. But just put LinkedIn and you will see all kinds of backgrounds that you can use and make it your own. So that's something I
Yeah.
learned just recently that would help up there. And the description below you. An accounting professional, okay? Is that all you
What
are?
does that
And
mean?
yours, we could go
Right?
on for 20 minutes, right? You know, you make it succinct using keywords that you want people to search you by. Expert, CEO, specialist, strategist. Those are things that you can put in your about, you can put in the description of who you are, and what are they going to get? What is their result? So LinkedIn strategists to help you to find the people that are going to make you profitable. You don't have to go to all of that, but make it very clear and concise. And then the about, which you know very well. When I just looked at it as we came up here, it was like, I forgot I told her all that stuff because it was
I actually
there.
did. It took me months. I'm like a
It
student
was
of the
there.
system, right? Like you
Yeah,
told
yeah,
me what
yeah.
to do.
Yeah, you
I
did it.
went
It
out
was
and I
great.
made it happen.
Yeah. So
So if you
anyhow, in
guys
the
go check
about,
out our LinkedIn profile, like this is
yeah,
what she's telling you. This is
yeah,
the exact
yeah,
framework going to help you maximize everything that you want to convey to those in a quick snapshot. Because like she said, what your resume is your resume. We're not going to go and study that. Like what is the first so many second impact that you're
that's
making
right.
on somebody that they have the ability to look in your LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely. The about is a little history, your passion, what your services is, and then sections, who you're targeting, your best alliances, who you best work with, in other words, the results that you're giving them, and the action that they should take to get those results. Very clean in little bulleted sections, so I don't have to go listen or look at your history when you were a child and what your mother wore when you got up in the morning, because I don't care.
Right, right. People, yeah, you're right. Generally, people are like, how can you help me? How can you help me? And if we
What's
can
the
tell them even
result?
faster how
That's
they
right.
can be helped by you and they know what
That's
it
right.
looks like to work with you, this
That's
sounds
right.
like this would have amazing results for people that need to edit their profile right away if they're seeking employment. But here's what I actually want to ask a question because you obviously are very passionate about this and you're sharing it globally. But why is this so important to you?
There's so many resources that are available. I mean, I've got a whole database filled with them. And to me, it's so important to people to be able to be usefully, to be useful in being a resource and to be able to absorb that which is available to them. So that's really important, besides the obvious, which is to be able to give voice and literacy to the underserved population so they are sustainable, self-sustainable to increase love, prosperity, and peace. And that was my Peace Corps education that I continue with today. It's possible. I'd say it's probable. And it is my passion to bring those resources to people that can and I won't put a should because I don't want to should on you. But the point is to be able to have a voice to create your best life. We have all the tools that they need. Absolutely.
This means no one's off limits. to Jacque having this conversation with you. And this is just something that you can reach out to her to figure out what this looks like for you so that you can make a bigger impact with yourself, your company, your business. You want to be better at this. I want you to let us know what is the best way possible that people can reach out to you to find and request. What does it look like for someone to do business with you?
Well, on LinkedIn, I'm in Jacqueline. That's why I put both words there. I'm Jaclyn Zoccoli. So you can find me there at any point, and that's fine. I probably pay attention to LinkedIn more than I do my emails. However, if you put together my Jacque and Zoccoli together and an 88 at Gmail, you'd also find me on an email. And my website is JacqueLynZoccoli.com. And the whole story of Jacque, we won't go into, we don't have time. Just realize I put both because I'm not a jock. Well, I was a jock. I was a physical education teacher. I am not a jock male. I'm very female. So the point is I need to have that definition in my name.
Nice, nice. Now, this is amazing information. And what I'm going to do is post all these links below so everybody can come take a peek at what your profile looks like. That way they can send you a message so they can request to be friends with you as a connection, and you would be able to impart this knowledge with them, for them, and no one's off limits. Like this is for everybody. If you are breathing,
Absolutely.
right? Like back in the day when you could get alone if you were just breathing. Well, if you're breathing, then
Yeah,
you need to go have
exactly.
an appointment with Jacque so that she can come take a peek at what it is that you could maximize even better. Tell me though, you are doing such incredible stuff. If you have something that's like huge, next, big on the horizon.
Well, this merging of global and LinkedIn, I've decided I already had a workshop on enhancing your global profile in LinkedIn. And then on August 16th, a Friday, I am also doing the next one, which is Global Pursuit with LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you how to be more global since I'm assuming that you've got the profile already done. And so now it's a matter of actually finding the value in all those people with names that are so complicated you can't understand them and you figure they're from another country and no value to you, is to be able to actually work with them because they're really beautiful people. So that is on LinkedIn in events for me. It's the 16th of August, and that is a Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 1400 GMT. So you can come to my LinkedIn and you will see it as an event. That's
Nice.
the
Now
one on
that,
the horizon. Yeah, that's the one on the
oh, that's
horizon.
awesome. Now, depending on how this one goes, you're going to continue to have these at a nice set
I
pace for
may.
everyone.
I may. I do have what's called the Global Impact Network,
Hmm?
and that
Tell us about
is,
that.
there are four pillars: the literacy, the wellness, the environment, and the employment. And since January up till the middle of June, I have had a 1 hour, 3 speakers on each of those topics globally, to be able to get people to collaborate at a level where it again goes to the underserved population and to bring those alliances together. I'm going to start that again October 1st, and that's 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific Daylight Time. And there's another Zoom link for that, but I'm going to start that over again. So I will be looking for speakers. If you
Okay.
are a global focused individual, not just in your local whatever, and I don't even care because it will go global, is the point, in the literacy area and wellness and environment or employment, any of those areas, I'd love to be able to have you as a speaker. They will be sequentially. I will be having speakers in that area, so I'm opening to that.
That sounds incredible. You have such a big heart for this. I love that
I
you
love it.
have been able to unpack this story. I'm sure there's so much more to tell. The most important part that I want everybody to know is that you are just an email or a link web browser click away to come find somebody that really cares about your impact that you are having. And don't get me wrong, if you think, well, I'm not, no, no, no. You are. You are making an impact. Let's go ahead and make it bigger. People need to know about you and hear about what it is you're doing and how they can get to know you better and what it looks like to work with you. And by golly, you should get to know Jackie so that way she can make you be you bigger, right? And even on a
That's right.
global impact. Are there any extra nuggets that I want to leave or we should leave everybody with before we go?
Yeah, the one that I love, and it's a quote by Gary Spence, is to be open to wonder rather than closed by belief.
Ooh, that's an incredible quote.
Yeah, isn't it great? I just love it because we drive our lives by our beliefs, and often
Hmm.
we don't open the door to wonder and be open-minded enough to accept someone else's beliefs.
Wow. I love it. I think you left them with a lot of really good action steps today, and they're going to have no choice but to go over here and find you on LinkedIn.
Good.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time. It
you.
really meant a lot to me for you to come on and share with my audience how you can impact them and create us to even create a bigger global impact. We're going to sign off for today, and we wish everybody the best of the day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.